Hello there everyone and welcome to the League of Europe Division 1 stream. We are here for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix and we actually have a full grid of drivers. So this is going to be a very interesting race, especially considering what happened up in Bahrain. But I am joined by none other than Sir Tamdi.
Sir, man, you're being a bit generous there, but
Alright,
thanks very much.
Tamd.
Yeah, that's probably more deserving. Anyway, here we are then at Baku, as Jekyll said, a full grid, which I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. It's such a tight and twisty circuit, like the one in Azerbaijan's capital, but we'll have to wait and see. As I believe cars coming out the pits, Keller may be one of the first cars out on the Super Soft, which is interesting this early in the session. But the Ferrari man exits the pits, and he won last time out in Bahrain, overtaking his teammate on the last lap. So he's got a lot of confidence, a lot of momentum going on. He's currently sits P5 in the championship. He'll be looking to improve, but he's out there for the moment as more cars exit the pit lane.
Do indeed, and I know that I'm just having a look in the chat. Jerry has just put in there saying that it is all dry, so no rain for quali, no rain for race. Everyone could just get on with their setups, try and get the quickest time. And it is going to be a very interesting race. So I know that Mitch is the one that is leading the championship as we speak. The rest of the grid, I honestly do not have a Scooby-Doo. I'll try and see if I can find that now. Oh, you've got them.
Yeah. Yes, so Mitch, as you mentioned, leading the championship by a reasonably comfortable 29 points ahead of Mr. Decade, the two champs heading out the front of the field. But yeah, decent gap for Mitch there, 29 points. He's going to be very comfortable at this one. Jim currently sits in third after a bit of a disastrous race in Bahrain after his pretty strong start to the season. But he's still up there in P3 ahead of probably I'm going to say the surprise of the season so far, Neil Luigi in P4 at the moment. An absolutely stellar job just staying out of trouble. He picked up 4th place in Mexico and 5th place in Bahrain, so he's really managed to establish himself as one of the front-running drivers in the league, which I know I'm sure he wouldn't mind me saying this, but I wasn't really expecting it, so it was a really good job from him.
Yeah, without a doubt, he has done an exceptional job of getting up into P4 in the championship himself. You know, being a D2 last season, not managing to take it only just because Jerry was really quick, and then coming into Division 1, gets promoted along with Jerry and V5, and is now 4th in the championship. So plus he's just been Mr. Consistent, without a doubt.
Yeah, as per usual.
Yeah, as per usual.
Yeah, he's the guy that doesn't exactly have the raw pace, but is still able to deliver those kind of results. So I'm currently watching the Ferrari of Killer as we focus more on what's going on in front of our screens. At the moment, the Ferrari man goes into the dreaded castle section. Drivers hate this. So easy to hit one of these walls. He gets very close to that outside wall, which is so easy to do. Really difficult traction zone here. Gets on the power nicely into 4th gear. Shifts up as there's yellows sitting there. That's probably letting through cars. There is a car up ahead, so hopefully he's getting away. Onyx has gone out already. So it looks like he's had some sort of issue. Unfortunate for him, as I believe that might be his teammate just up the road. It is Mitch. Is he going to try and give Killer a little bit of a tool here? Of course, the man who won the last time out in Bahrain, getting a slipstream off his teammate on the super soft tyres. So is he going to be able to get a good time in? He's in overtake mode.
Cookie's also retired.
Also gone out. Yeah, so a lot of casualties in the early part of the session. But you can't really look at this slipstream there. It gets right up to the line. Does 37.5, which isn't actually as good of a lap as he could have been capable of, but because he only gets one set of those supers, he's probably not going to set. He's not going to set his fastest lap on those anyway. But Spain and V5 have gone on the softs and the ultras respectively. It's Gary, Snuff 37.3. He goes fastest, and that, I think, judging by the lap time that he's done, it pretty much confirms that he wants to start on those ultras. Do you think?
Oh yeah, for sure. Gary, I think, is probably just set on what his strategy is, just try and go for the fastest tyres, and then go from there, as his teammate actually one-ups him, and goes 6 tenths faster than him.
Yeah, not a bad lap from Rick. Paris goes even quicker. These guys beginning to nail the times down, but the man that we're going to be watching right now is Mitch. Hasn't actually. It looks like he's backed off his lap because he's running no ERS, so he may have messed up the beginning.
I'm watching the
More times
current
coming in.
pole sitters time, current pole sitters teammates time. Larkin goes P7 on the soft compound tyres, just ahead of RJ, but just behind V5.
Yeah, Spain currently the fastest of the soccer runners. I know the top drivers here could get probably well into the 37s on softs, based on what I was doing earlier. So I don't think that these guys are going all out just yet. But certainly those top three certainly deciding that they want to go for the ultras. It's a decent tire, and you can easily do one stop on it. But I think the super is probably a little bit quicker over a race stint. So it's a good it's a track where strategies can be very interesting, and we see a lot of splits between the drivers potentially.
Is indeed, as Mitch has just come into the pits. Bullet Boy has actually gone up to P5 on the soft tyres, so he's gone ahead of V5 and even gone ahead of Spine. Owen as well has just improved on his time, going up to P10. So nicely done from him. Who else has we got on the lap? I think Lawmans is on a lap. Yeah, I believe so. I could be
No, he's
completely wrong.
not. He's
No.
not. His ERX is off, so I don't imagine he is. But yeah, as we see often in this game, it seems like there's a lot of bankers being set with different strategies. So I wouldn't take most of the times that you're seeing in front of you as being representative for sure. As these guys just looking to get laps in just so they have something on the board, but before pushing on a bit more in the latter part of the session.
Yeah, without a doubt. I've just spectated Jarry as well. He's just improved on his time. Doom, I think, is now just about to start setting, or he's starting his lap now, because I think it was invalidated on the last lap. So we'll go on board with the Salva driver. Let's see how he does on the hardest compound tyre.
Jim rounds, I believe that's turn 3, comes up towards the middle sector of the lap. The Southern very aggressive on the throttle, kicks out the rear end a little bit, and now under brakes down to the second gear, trying to open up the exit and get close to the wall but not slide, and he's done that very nicely there as the Spaniard now breaking down as he begins to repair himself for the castle section. All eyes focused, got to get close to the inside wall as you can, and the outside wall, right up against that outside wall. As we'll see all the top drivers doing, they really didn't leave much on the table for there, but they make it work, and when you do nail that section, it can gain you so much time, and it feels so rewarding. But Jim carries on going into turn 15, the outside wall was just aiming to claim you, but he's able to keep it out nicely. Now, braking, final corner, or final significant corner, big traction zone, gets it nicely. He's going to get a slipstream from Lorman just up the road, so that's going to help him out as he negotiates these final few kinks. Gets a little bit out of shape, but looks like he's managed to keep it together. Now it's just a straight run to the line. He's got the slipstream ahead, so it's going to assist him a little bit as he comes up to the line. Is he going to challenge those top times to the 37.8? That was a pretty good lap on those softs from Jim. So he goes into P5, and I expect him to go on the supers potentially at the end of the session. But yeah, pretty decent lap from Jim there to go P5 for the moment.
Yeah, for sure. I'm also watching Bullet Boy. I think he is just about to finish his lap as well. I've just seen as well, he's 4/10 up from sector 2, so it does look as if he will improve on his time. What is he going to be able to do? It is a 1:38.4. He only improves on it by 2/10, but still an improvement
Yeah.
nonetheless.
Yeah, he was running out of ERS at the end of that lap, so he probably lost a couple of tenths from that. Maybe we'll go as P6 nonetheless. I'm just looking at the cars that are currently on their laps. Not really seeing them. I think it is a bit of a quieter time of the session. Oh, and I believe this is Mr. Chemry who's actually on a lap C rounds. I believe that's turn 5 6. I'm not too familiar with the corners on this track. But the Ferrari comes up and he is now going to tackle that castle section. How's he going to get on?
Yeah, I spectate him. I'm just going on cockpit camera to see how he is going to handle the castle section. Gets that done really nicely. Guys, as close to the wall as he possibly can. and gets a very nice exit. So he is looking to see if he can try and overtake his rival Paris, who has actually set the fastest time on the super soft tyres. Actually, is that on the super soft? I could be completely wrong.
No, he's
Oh,
no,
it
he's
was
just
on
got the
ultras.
super subs fitted.
Yeah.
No, he set the
Oh,
thing
he's
on
got his
the again.
teammate in front of him.
He's very close though. I'm not sure if his killer's judged this right because Mitch is going to get right up behind him. And Killer has to get out of the way. Soon enough, and oh, he's gone in the
Oh, he's
wall.
retired. Oh, RJ's gone in castle as well. He's binned it at castle. Paris has gone into the back of RJ.
Madness in the quality session, but Mitch, he wouldn't have been put off that, but his teammate does 37-0 on supers. That is a good lap from him, but it looks like he's going to try and want to go quicker than that. Paris is out as well. We've got retirements left, right, and centre in this technical circuit. Of course, seeing it claiming victims, and yeah, that's a real feature of this. You know, we've got drivers binning it, and it's just because of how difficult this track is and how these walls just stick out. It's a lethal circuit.
That's what's going to make this race even better. To see it would be testing drivers' wheels to see how they will be doing it in a confined space, kind of like Monaco, but especially that dreaded castle section.
Yeah, it's a real chance for the drivers to show off their precision though, that these guys, because like Monaco, you've got to use the entire width of the track to quick grounds here. That is how you get your best possible lap times, and that's how you're going to be elite basically at this track, but obviously you run a risk, and that's what we've seen claiming victims. Harry has gone out, Cookie, Onyx, Killer and Paris. They're all considered very strong drivers that are going to have work to do in the race. Obviously Paris has already got a very good lap time down already, but I'm expecting that to get beaten as the session goes on, so he's left himself in a bit of a difficult position, but we'll see how those times stand as the session goes on.
Yeah, so I'm currently just watching Gary on his lap. He looks like he's doing an amazing lap at the moment. He's looking like he could be besting his teammate at this point, maybe even overtaking Paris, as he is coming up to what I like to call the little sausage curb, because that can really throw you off, and I reckon that's probably where a couple drivers have DNF'd in quali. Now, I think his teammate is just up ahead. A lot of these guys are trying to slipstream it so they can get quicker on their times. I don't know, has Rick actually managed to time this one perfectly for Gary? He's going to have to do a bit of overtaking. And Rick's gone in at the pit. It's Gary. He goes pole. He's done a 1:36.5. Fastest time so far. Nicely done to the Irishman. Who else have we got on a lap? No, Mitch has just gone into the pits. Bullet Boy's on an out lap. Let's go on Bob with Jerry, who has just gone into the pits. Let's see. New Waluigi. He's coming onto the start-finish straight now. I don't know though. Is he on a lap? No, he's not. He's going into the pits.
One man who I do believe is on a lap is Decky, currently sits down at the 14th. He's gone for a lap on the soft tyres, which is interesting because we are nearing the end of the session. So he may be a little bit pushed for time if he decides to go on another lap, because it is a long lap at about 1:36 lap for the fastest guys out here so far. It gets very close to the wall, and that can be a killer. So we saw Mr. Killer Blue have a mistake right there as he was trying to get out of the way of his teammate. But Decky's running very low on ERS. He is actually going to hit. So he isn't going to take that risk and potentially put on a set of the super softs, or maybe even the ultras to have a crack at some of those top times.
Yeah, so I'm just currently watching Bullet Boy. He's on a lap on the super soft tyres. A lot of these guys now starting to go out on their super soft runs. We're now down to the business end of the qualifying. So as we're watching Bullet Boy, nicely done. Oh, okay,
Ooh.
and completely cuts that. Right.
Not sure if he felt as if the car was going to snap out from under him and had to save it. The car did look pretty stable, so I'm not sure what's going on with him there. Currently, I've not really got any drivers that are on a lap right now. I believe that's Owen that's just starting a lap. Lormans appears to be on a lap, so the Williams man exits the final corner of real significance, gets a decent exit, which is a little bit oversteer. Yellow's in sector 1, hopefully that's not driver going out of the session, but Lorman's now, he's got himself in the run up to the line. He is on those super soft tyres, so he is going to have to put down a big time to try and challenge fastest runner on those. This match currently on a 37.0. Lorman's does a 38.3, so not exactly the best lap that he could have done, but looks like he could just save the ERS. Hopefully he's got enough fuel and maybe have another crack at trying to improve that time.
Yeah, indeed. I'm just going to go on board with Owen. I know he's currently also on a lap. He's coming up to the castle section. Gets a little bit of a lock, but it doesn't look like it's affected him at all. Going through castle. Locked up once again.
So he is being very punchy on those brakes as he goes round turn 14 into 15. Now, hard on the brakes, down into third gear, flips that curve on the inside, gets a little tiny bit of oversteer as he gets closer and closer to the wall, but he's able to keep it out. Final corner, locks up again, goes a little bit straight on now, opens up the power, opens up all of the raging bulls under that Toro Rosso engine. Now, it's not Toro Rosso engine, but just allow it. Now, comes around, puts it up into overtake mode, or down but up at the same time, I don't know what I'm saying, but he opens a DRS. Now up to the line, what Toro Rosso man gonna set on those surfaces. The 37.9 goes P7, he gets to the 37s, but yeah, he's not quite able to challenge the top guys, but we'll be looking around. We've got a lot of guys on those super soft tyres, so it looks like they're gonna look and try and challenge maybe that time of Mitch currently on a 37.0.
Indeed, it was a valiant effort from Bullet Boy. Not Bullet Boy, sorry, Owen. I was looking at Bullet Boy's name. Valiant effort from Owen to get into the 37. Still just behind Doom. I believe Doom's lap. What was Doom's lap on? Was that on the softs or the supers as well?
It was on the softs actually, so he's in a pretty good position now. Bullet Boy up to the line. He's had to turn his ERS down a little bit now, back into overtake mode. What's the time going to be? It's 37.2. That's a good lap from Bullet Boy. Puts himself in P5 just by Mitch, so he can be happy with his effort. Looks like he's going to park up and call it a day for this session.
Indeed, it was a very good lap from Bullet Boy. Yeah, retired from the session. Remember, guys, what we've said about retiring on track. Please don't, because it could get in people's way when they're doing their laps like that. Bullet Boy is parked right on the edge of turn 1.
Wow.
Rick, what a lap from the Red Bull driver, a 1:36.1.
Yeah, that's quicker than what I can do. So yeah, really good job from Rick. He's way ahead. He's 2 Red Bulls though. Currently top of the timesheet. So is it going to stay that way? Power's still in P3 despite that off that he had. I believe he actually got collected in an instant car DW, as I've been seeing in the chat. But Gary currently on a lap. I believe RJ's just on a 37.8 on the supers. Owen was out, so he didn't get a chance to go around again. Rick is retired. He's happy with that lap. But who else is?
I'm currently watching the championship leader Mitch as he's coming up towards the start-finish straight. Here we go. He's done it as a banker lap, so I don't think he's going to improve on that at all, and I think he's just going to stay with a 37 dead. But I believe that was on the super soft tyres.
Yeah, but do you know who else was on the super soft tyres? Spine. Who's made his return for this race, and he has gone just ahead of Mitch. So I believe Mitch probably sounded like that Mitch wanted to just get his time down on the supers, but Spine has really stolen the march there. He's in such a good position for this race now on the 36.9.
Yeah, right, I'm going to watch the Red Bull driver of Gary. Here we go, he's coming up to the start-finish straight. Is he going to improve? Is he going to be even faster than his teammates? So far it is a Red Bull 1-2. He doesn't improve, he sticks with a 36.5. Who else have we got that's on a lap? We still watch Spine. Is he going to improve on his time at all? Coming on to the start finish straight now. He is the last one to set a lap. No, just looking at the top right, he's not improved.
Yeah. So that is it for your qualifying session. Rick with a storming 36.1. Take full position for the race at Baku, as I'll leave it to you to run us through the qualifying order. But yeah, great lap from Rick. The Red Bulls locking out the front row, and hopefully with those ultra soft tires, they've got to make it count in the first couple of laps.
Have indeed. So Rick, a blistering lap, 4 tenths ahead of his teammate, up in first position, or pole position, should I say. The Irishman of Gary, pretty good result for him in P2, I must admit. Paris in P3 reckons that he wanted to try and do that, well, do a little bit better on his lap on that one, but unfortunate for what happened. Spine, the fastest of the super soft runners in P4. Mitch 5th, Doom 6th, Bullet Boy in 7th, Jerry in 8th, Killer in 9th, New Waluigi in 10th, Decky 11th, RJ in 12th, V5 in 13th, Owen in 14th. I believe Larkin was 15th. Lawman's. Who else was behind him? I can't remember who else was behind him, but all of those guys get to start on their own choice of tyre. Onyx, Cookie, and I think Harry were all the other ones that didn't manage to finish.
Yeah, some of those guys not even setting a proper time just because of mistakes is which is very easy to do at this
Mm.
track, particularly that castle section, where you just see many a driver hitting the inside, the outside wall. It's just every wall there is so ominous. And then the second part of the castle section are really difficult to get right. It's not exactly a place where you're going to be seeing a lot of crashes, but it's very difficult to nail because there's a lot of it's very difficult with traction and getting that just right. But yeah, we saw a lot of mistakes in that qualifying session. We saw some absolutely astonishing laps.
Mm.
But yeah, hopefully these guys will most of all be able to keep it clean in the first few corners of this race.
Well, indeed. So as we have the formation lap, we have the Red Bull pairing leading this formation lap. Like I said, they've done a very good job of getting P1 and P2, even though they're on the softer compound tyre. Paris also is on that softer compound. So they have done a decent job
Yes,
of getting P1 and P2.
looking down in this latter half of the grid is exactly half the grid that has had free choice of tyre. And we're seeing, in general, quite a lot of super soft starters, but we have V5 has actually opted for the ultras, which is very interesting strategy decision. So he'll be one to watch in the first few laps, and also Lormans and Onyx, the two Williams
Oh,
man, go in for the soft. So they're going to be extending their sense log into the race, but the issue that they have is if they get collected in any incidents, which of course it's Baku, you can easily see that that's really good. And if they get damaged, that's really going to compromise their strategy.
it will indeed. And also, just looking through the formation lap as well, Rick is lagging quite a bit. Hopefully that doesn't play too much into it in the race, but it will be
Ooh,
yeah, you can see
yeah,
it. Look, he's lagging everywhere, gone into the wall and everything. As I said, hopefully that doesn't play too much of a part in the race. But just looking through the chat, Old School saying, good luck all you guys. Paris looking pacey. He does indeed. RJ saying, someone explain to Paris that I can't get out of the way of a crash car in the castle section. I mean, that is very true. If someone's a crash car in the castle, there's not much more they can do about it. They can't go around it because it's very difficult fitting an F1 car around a car that is sideways.
yeah. Especially for such a narrow section of the track.
Without a doubt. How is Cookie and another car this far behind? Who is that? Is that Lawman's? No.
Onyx.
Oh, is that Onyx? How are these two so far behind?
No
Like,
idea.
Rick's just coming up to the line now. And Onyx and Cookie are just...
Is there for you, is there a Toro Rosso that's just jumped ahead of everyone else in this
Yeah,
manner?
I think that was Jerry. He's wanting to feel like he was in the middle. Can't say I
Classic
blame him.
Jerry. But anyway, we were just waiting for these last two guys. I'm not sure what was going on. I think Onyx got a bit tired of that and ended up overtaking Cookie. But what this is going to do is it's going to allow those guys that are up ahead, their tires are going to be very cold, and that's going to make matters interesting as they line up on the back of the grid. Here we are, all the cars lined up for the Baku Grand Prix.
So for some unknown reason, there's already yellows in sector 3, even though no one's pulled off of the line. But We will be having the 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away all the drivers go. It looks like Rick has got an amazing start. Paris has got an even better start up on Gary. Goes around the outside of him. Spine's also got a really good start. Juma's got an even better start. He's gone already down the inside of Mitch Mooch. Now down in a P6. Gets shoved in the back by Bullet Boy. Bullet Boy I think may have just lost a bit of his front wing there. And it looks like all of the drivers have got away relatively clean. It doesn't know it's been that many, if not no incidents whatsoever. But the battle for P2, Paris going around the outside of Gary. Gary manages to hold down the inside of Paris, and that's given the Salvers an opportunity. It looks like I just saw a bit of front wing flying off. I think that may have been Spine. Spine may have just lost a bit of his front wing going into the back of Paris, but it looks like Rick has managed to hold his own. Already 1.4 seconds ahead of ahead of Gary in the first lap. Has been having a battle with Paris, but he has managed to get an amazing getaway.
Yeah, Rick in a great position out in front in this race. It has been a reasonably clean start there. This front wing there down at turn 8, so I'm not sure what's going on there as the back of the field goes through the castle section. But yeah, Rick with an absolutely blinding start, and Gary having to fend off that very feisty looking Force India of Paris has held him back, but he is going to be under pressure once again. And of course, when DRS is activated, he won't be able to use that to defend against Paris. But Mitch was surprisingly going back. I saw Bullet Boy, looks like he's disconnected from a very solid point scoring position. Not good for him. Hopefully he's able to get back in as his AI car falls down the field. But as they exit the final corner, Paris gets up alongside Gary. There's no DRS, but he's going to try and take him on in a drag race. Gets the nose ahead, going down the straight. Gets in front of the Red Bull. As Gary going to try and find it back. Up to the outside, down towards turn 1. Late on the brakes is the Irishman, but Paris just able to hold on the inside. The two Sabres running behind Mitch. Currently shaping up a move as further down the field. B5 gets past Bullet Boy's AI car that's plummeting down the field, but certainly a decent start for B5 as well, given he is on his ultras, but he has got a gap to close up ahead. But Rick still leads the way. Paris able to get past Gary. Do you think he has a chance of chasing down that leading Red Bull? So we've got a battle here from P2 downwards. Paris still holding that down. Mitch a bit held up at the moment there. He's going to have to try and make his way back through. A lot of times we've seen this season he's been in the lead of races, but yeah, he's not in that position right now, so he's going to have to fight his way through. But Spine's still the leading out of those Supersoft runners. He's going to be in a good position. The next couple of laps, he is going to be chasing hard. But it looks like Gary is really struggling for pace out there. I'm not sure if he's got damage. He skips right across that curve at turn 15, so he does seem to be struggling a little bit. But Spine still over the back of him. I just want to check. My co-commentator.
I'm still here. I am still here. Yeah, it's just quick to just mute my mic.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh, there's been a massive incident. One of the Salvers have just gone straight into the wall. I think that was June. I think he's just lost quite a bit of his front wing, and Mitch may have been affected by that.
Jim Pets, yeah.
Oh,
he goes into the wall.
He's retired in the pit.
Yeah, he crashed on the entry. That wasn't a retirement as such. That was just him misjudging it. It's a very difficult pit lane entry, and that's caught out one of the very best drivers this league has to offer. Jim out of the race early on, but up towards the front. Spine now is going to have his first chance of DRS. Gary has been really struggling for pace. Up to the outside it goes, out towards turn 3. Gary's got
gives
the
him the squeeze. That's given Mitch the opportunity. Mitch is right back on the back of Spine. Spine made a little bit of a gap. With Gary's given Spine the squeeze, that's now given Mitch the opportunity. So, Mitch, is he going to be able to get past Spine? He's not going to be able to do it down the castle section. He's going to have to wait until it comes towards the long DRS straight.
The issue that he has is that Spine has still got DRS off Gary ahead, so he's going to find it difficult to get through us. Mitch is going to have to kind of bide his time at the moment, wait for the race to come to him. But Gary, I don't know what's going on with him. He qualified well, but he is struggling for pace. It's Paris that's really flying at this stage, closing that gap to Rick out in front. But yeah, we've got Mitch continuing to hassle the back of Spine. Gary got a bit out of shape, but yes, this train from 3rd down to 6th, running very closely. It's Decades, the next car behind. I believe Decky did start a little bit further down the field. He's up 4 places, so it's been a good start for the double champion. So he's going to have his work cut out to try and catch the cars ahead. But Spain now attacking Gary.
Yeah, Spine has got DRS. Mitch has also got DRS. Killer Blue also has DRS. This could be a 3, maybe even 4 wide going in towards turn 1. Mitch has got so much overspeed. Gary just can't keep up, and he's just lost 2 positions in the space of the straight. Is he going to lose one to Killer Blue? No, Killer Blue is just he's just held a bit back behind, but he is going to have DRS. Spine is now going to be the one that's playing the culprit. Is he? I think Mitch is a bit too far away to get past Spine, and has managed to hold that P3 so nicely out of him. Unfortunate for Gary, losing out on 2 positions.
Looks like Gary is already starting to struggle on those ultras. His tyres just seem to not be offering as much grip as the cars around him. And that's going to be interesting in terms of the battle for the lead, because these guys have got to make sure they're not losing that much time to the charging pack behind them. They're going to be going very quickly, led by Spain, and Mitch is going to be hunting down Spain all the way, I'm sure. I'm expecting them to be a bit of a battle between the two of them going into turn 1, but it's Paris. He's looked so quick in these early stages. He continues to just chase down Rick. He's closing that gap rapidly, and now he's pressuring. So you can see a chance for the lead. The battle for third is still up in the air as well. So towards the front of the field, a lot of action, but still a lot going on further down. Deke heads up the 2 McLarens, Luigi and V5. V5 obviously on those ultra soft tyres. He's got to get a move on here and really start to get the most out of these tyres before they start going off.
Does indeed. I'm on board with Paris. He is only 3 tenths behind your current race leader of Rick. He has got a lot more speed down the straight than Rick, and he's got the DRS. I think it's going to be a fairly easy move for him. I think both of the Red Bulls ultra soft tyres are gone off. Paris sets the fastest lap of the race. Paris just moves straight in the line, and that's it. Into the lead of the race. Now, how's Rick going to respond on the next DRS coming up towards turn 3? I'll go on board with him. It just looks like Paris is so fast in a straight line.
Oh. Well, further back for the battle for the podium. Down the inside goes Mitch. He tried it into turn 1. Spain was able to do the switch back. No switch back on this occasion for the Cyberman. He can't quite get it done. Mitch goes up into P3, but he's got a lot of chasing to do on those top 2, both them on the ultra soft tyres. But Paris still looks very strong around here. I'm interested to watch him going into this corner. I'm just going to watch his brakey input. He may actually be using ABS, I'm not sure, because it is very, very effective around this track, but he can clarify that. But Paris still leads the way. He's really quick in these early stages, but Rick has just got to try and stay in that DRS. It's looks like his team's telling him to pit, as is Barrett. I don't imagine these guys are going to be pitting this early on. Maybe around about lap 7 or 8 if you want to take the softs to the end of the race.
It won't surprise me if one of the guys on the ultra soft tyres are going to be pitting this lap. However, Gary looks like he is struggling massively and is almost already out of a second from Killer Blue, so he's not even going to have the DRS. So it won't surprise me if one of the Red Bulls will pit this lap. I will stick on board with Rick. I don't think Rick is pitting. No, Rick isn't pitting. Is any of the... Is Gary? I think Gary's sticking on the left. Gary will be.
Yeah, so Gary into the pits then. It looks like his tyres were already going off within a couple of laps, so I'm not surprised by that. E-boxes, what tyre is he going to fit? That's going to be one to look out for. The Red Bull goes into his pit box. He's going for the soft tyres, so he's got his work cut out, try and take those to the end of the race. Can he do it? We're going to have to find out. But up at the front, Spain now attacking Mitch. Can he get through for the podium?
Doesn't look like Spine's going to be able to get the move done on the DRS straight coming up towards turn 3. And as these guys are coming up towards the castle section, I don't think he's going to be able to get anything done, as Jarry and Onyx are going back and forth. Onyx looks like he went down the inside of Jarry going up towards turn 3 and has made the move stick. So maybe the super soft tyres are going to be starting to go off relatively shortly, as Lawmans has retired from the session. Where was that then?
Turn 3, I think.
Turn 3. He's just binned it. I don't know if he was in the battle with anyone, but that's unfortunate for him.
Yeah, he may have missed his braking point going into that outside wall. There is an escape road there, so he could have potentially avoided that, but we have no idea what happened. He could have been pushed out there, as mentioned. but we'll see. But Paris still holding on to Rick, but Rick is doing a good job there, considering how much slower he looked when Paris was chasing him down. He is actually keeping up and could even have an outside chance of getting the move done here. So Paris still out in front. Are any of these guys going to be pitting? I'm expecting pit stops soon. Looks like they're going to stay out potentially. No, both of them go into the pit box. So Bullet Boy's managed to get himself back in, which is good to see. But Paris gets to slow down. Rick gets to slow down nicely. Where are these guys going to come out in relation to Gary? I expect them both probably to be out ahead given the amount of time Gary lost. But it looks like they've both put on a set of those soft tyres. So it looks like Paris might have got. They didn't get held. Sorry, it was a bit of a glitch going on there. But these guys are coming out in a bit of traffic. So that's going to be intriguing then. Paris and Rick could be putting himself in a bit of bother, and Rick's going to have his work out side by side with Larkin as he goes out the pits, just about able to avoid colliding the force and Larkin goes ahead. Rick's going to have his work out to try and get back through in the slipstream now. Looks like he's got a bit lower wing, eases to the inside. I don't think Larkin's going to fight that too hard, so Rick manages to stay with Paris as Paris has a look at Yari, who looks like he's let him through. I'm not sure what went on there with the Dutchman, but he allows him through.
Larkin is back battling with Rick once again. He's not giving up that fight for P10. I think Rick has just managed to keep up ahead of him for the time being, but he doesn't look like he's letting up on the Red Bull driver.
Larkin charging up the back of Rick. Looks like the DRS is proven to be very powerful. Spine has managed to keep right in contact with Mitch up ahead, but it's Keller that's struggling at this stage. He's not been able to hold that DRS off the leaders. But now it's interesting. Paris has now got Onyx ahead of him to contend with. So those guys that were leading the first stint getting stuck in traffic, and that could allow those guys that are currently out of the super soft set. That's going to make things very intriguing.
Yep, I'm on board with Spine. A bit of lag in the lobby. Spine looks like he's lagging quite a bit, but he's going down the inside of. No, he isn't. He fought twice. He looked like he was going to go down the inside of Mitch, but did not manage to get that move done at all. Decky now on the back of New Waluigi. I don't think he's going to be able to get the move done either. No one else is actually coming to the pits, so Rick and Paris making early pit stops. I wonder if it will benefit them. As actually, Onyx up in P7 could play a bit of a factor in this race.
Yeah, because he's holding up Paris right now. Paris has got to get the move done quickly, or he's in the slipstream down towards turn 3. Is Onyx going to defend it? And Paris looks to the inside but doesn't go for it. He knows he's got a potential race win here, so he doesn't want to do anything silly. But Onyx is going to cost him a lot of time because it's really difficult to overtake through this section of the track. Almost no overtaking spots. But as you mentioned, Decky attacking Luigi. Luigi has actually managed to get his way past Mercedes, which is very interesting. So Decky may be struggling a little bit early on. He has lost time to those leaders, those top 3 up the road. So Luigi doing well at the beginning of this race. Paris is followed very closely behind Onyx, which could be very costly if Onyx makes mistakes with that castle section. It could catch the Force India man out, but it is allowing Rick, who did get held up a little bit with his battling with Larkin, it is all that squabbling between these 2 cars ahead is allowing him to close that gap back up.
Indeed, I'm watching on board with Decky, still on the back of New Luigi. Surely these guys are going to have to make a pit stop relatively soon. Also Spine on the back of Mitch. What's going to happen? I think Mitch done a dummy on Spine. Spine is still in a DRS range, goes down the inside of Mitch. I think he's managed to make the move stick, but what is going to happen is Mitch is going to have the DRS on coming up towards turn 3. Is he going to be able to get the move done, or has Spine managed to get the move and keep P1? In the DRS now is Mitch, and it's yellows in sector 2. It's Bullet Boy, who was retired from the session. He managed to get back in, but unfortunate for him, is retired. As Larkin is now in the pits as well, going on the set of the soft tyres. I think this is where we're going to start to see pit stops coming into play. Him being one of the first ones in the pits. I think he'll still remain up ahead of Jarry. Jarry, I've just realised, is also pit. Same with Cookie and Own.
I'm not too sure about the pit lane lots at this track, but Paris is only 13 seconds off of Spine. So he's actually done a pretty decent job given the traffic, but it's now Rick that's closing up on the back of Onyx. So we saw Paris have to get back through, and looks like the Red Bull is going to have to follow suit. He's 12 seconds ahead of his teammate Gary, just really struggling out there. He's now got V5, who pitted from the set of the Ultras. He's now pressuring him. So Gary, from a front row start, seems to be falling down the field here.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he's having a good race. He looked like he had an amazing qualifying session, but he just doesn't. Ever since then, he just doesn't look like he's been keeping up with it. I'm pretty sure I may have just seen a little bit of front wing fly off in the battle with Rick and Onyx. Whether one of them was going in a wall or what, but I don't know. I could just be completely wrong, and it was just a bit of. Well, I don't know what it was. To be honest with you, as Killer Blue, the first one out of the front runners currently in the pits.
The Ferrari man pulls the trigger, goes for the undercut. He was struggling to keep up with those two leaders, and it seems like he is going to try and get it elsewhere if he couldn't quite get them on track. But where is he going to come out? Relatively, he's behind those two freebase leaders. Available wages in behind him as well. But Keller comes out, nice clean air. That's what he would have wanted to see. Keller's got 5 seconds up ahead to the next car to push and get as much out of them as much out of those fresher tires as he can. Mitch and Spain, these guys just running nose to tail the whole time. Great display of driving from the pair of them, and gapping Deke behind them quite considerably. But Paris actually could be closing up on Mercedes very soon. But I'm expecting now that Keller has pitted that those two leaders, I would expect both of them to be in at the end of this lap. But only time will tell. Spain still leads it. Mitch on the back of him. But yeah, I'm expecting both these guys to come in at the end of this lap.
It's going to be interesting because I don't know if Mitch is just going to want to overtake him and then try and go into the pits. If they do opt to go in the pits for this lap, the pair of them, whether Mitch will just stay behind Spine and just let him lead him into the pit, or if Mitch will try to overtake him before he ends up going in towards a pit. I mean, who knows? Maybe only one of them will end up pitting this lap. Potentially both. Who knows?
Well, I'd expect at least one of them to come in. Mitch is going to have the DRS. Does he open that DRS? That's the question. Yes, he does. Looks like they're both going to go into the pits. So Spain jumps in just ahead of Mitch. So the two race leaders into the pits. They could come out and some battling as Deke under attack from Paris and the Mercedes man. I think he realises the fight's up. Paris moves up into P3 and he is going to have a comfortable lead at the front of this race, and it's really going to be a massive task for Spain and Mitch to chase that down. Spain's still in front of the Ferrari as they exit the pits. Are they in clean air is the question. And Keller, of course, tried to grab an undercut, but it looks like he struggled to get those tyres up to temperature because he is still way behind those two. But Onyx is also pit for a set of the Ultras, so it looks like he's going to be two-stopping in this race. But Mitch now pressuring Spain. Is he going to be able to get it done on the inside going into turn 3? Can he get it done? He's up alongside onto the brakes. A little bit of wheel rubbing between the two of them. Spain's not giving up though. Down towards turn 4. Still up the inside, but backside of it on the brakes. Mitch, braver on the brakes, able to get up to P5. And he's about 5 seconds or so. About just over 4 seconds behind Rick. But almost 7 seconds behind Paris, so he's got a lot of work to do to get his third win of the season. But if anyone can do it, that's which anyone can. Spain's still doing a great race, so holding on to the Ferrari. But Mitch now is going to try and get that hammer down and chase it down. But Paris has just been driving so well in this race and continues to lead ahead of Deke. Rick is going to have to find his way past Mercedes sometime soon. But Paris looks like he could be on for the win in this race. But
Gary has retired from the session. I'm going to go on board with RJ. We'll see whereabouts that is. It's at the castle section. He's broken his front right.
I think that must be in the third apex of the castle section based on where he's gone off. Yeah, Gary, after stellar qualifying, has just gone downhill for him as Deke stayed out the longest out of pretty much anybody. He stays out another lap.
Sorry to interrupt you. I was just watching Onyx and Jerry. Jerry got squeezed into the wall going over the little sausage curve, has lost a bit of his front wing, and Onyx is now up ahead of Jerry. That did not look like a good incident whatsoever, and that has given Larkin the opportunity to catch up to Jerry. Jerry, I think, is going to have to make another pit stop.
Yeah, there's a swap between the two McLarens there. Neo Luigi going ahead of V5 and following through is Harry. Harry, a feisty drive once again from the back of the grid. So we've seen this all the time with him. He starts at the back and just works his way up. V5 has a little look to the inside but doesn't go for it. But really, Watching Mitch here, he's actually lost a bit of time to Paris in that last lap, but he has managed to gap Spine. Looks like there's been a mistake from the Sauber. He has dropped back further down the field. Larkin able to move his way past Jari on the straight into turn 3. He moves through, but he's looks like he's going to struggle to pick up points in this race. We had quite a few drivers that pitted in the first few laps because of damage, but currently we've got RJ is one of the guys that pitted on the first lap, as is Harry, I believe. So Harry has been at this stage, so very good fight back, get himself up into 8th. But Paris still leads 2 seconds ahead of Wreck. Decky, surely he's going to have to pit this lap. He's stayed out an awful long time on those supers.
The question is where is it going to put him? He was with the battle within his teammate and the McLarens. I think it's going to put him even further out behind them. He may even go out behind Jake Ghost, as there's a battle between Onyx and RJ. RJ also still needs to pit, because I think he had a bit of damage on the first or second lap, but still does need to make the pit stop for the soft tyres. Onyx, as I said, has gotten past him, as Decky is now in the pit, so I think he will probably come out just behind V5, maybe even just in front of Jake Ghost, as he is coming out of the pits as we speak. It looks like he's got an up ahead of Jay Ghost, and I think he may be about 3 seconds behind the McLarens.
2.5 seconds is the gap between him and V5 with fresher tyres. He may take a little bit of time to get them up to temperature, as he's actually leaving on the straight to get them up to temperature. As Harry's managed to find his way past Luigi up into V6, he's got a 7-second gap ahead to Killer, and that's going to be awfully tough to close down with 8 lap over tyres, so he's got his work cut out to get any higher than 6th. And we could see him even lower if those tyres go off, but it's Decky who's going to be one of the ones to watch. He's in P9 after not the most impressive first stint, I had to say. He did seem to be struggling a little bit, and he let a couple of cars undercut him, including the 2 McLarens, but he's now going to be pushing hard as he gets right up against the wall coming out of turn 7. But up front, Rick's still holding that gap just over 2 seconds, as towards the back of the field I believe there may have been a mistake for Cookie. He's lost 2 positions, looks like he may have gone down the escape road at turn 3. He looks like he may have a bit of front wing damage as well, I'm not too sure.
He does indeed have front wing damage.
Okay, thanks for that, but Paris still leads the way, 2.5 seconds ahead of Rick. Mitch is going to try and chase that gap down, but he's not having much success at the moment, so Paris looking really good for a potential race win here.
Yeah, in all honesty as well, Paris and Rick, they pit earlier than what Mitch and Spine did, 4 laps earlier. That can be the difference between if they end up getting a puncture or not. So we'll have to look towards the end of the race, because that's where I think Mitch and Spine will end up catching up to those guys rapidly. They're only on 3 lap old soft tyres, where now all their tyres will sort of start to be warmed up. It's just a matter of when they will try and if they will try and get past the 2 front runners, because Mitch is currently about 6, maybe 7 seconds behind Paris. Spine is about 10 seconds.
Yeah, Spine just under 10 seconds off the lead, but yeah, well, Paris at the moment actually lapping quicker than Mitch is, despite Mitch's fresher tyres. He could be pushing them a little bit too hard. We'll have to see. Paris gets a slide on coming out of turn 12, I believe that is. But yeah, he has shown very impressive pace in this race. Harry hasn't managed to shake off, well, he's managed to shake off B5, but not Neo Luigi. Really steely drive from Neo Luigi. He's usually one of the guys that picks up good points from staying out of trouble, but he has actually had pretty good pace, staying with Decky and actually battling him, and he's not been far off the pace of Harry. Admittedly though, Harry does have much fresher tyres, but it's still not bad from him. Decky continuing, well, he's not really chasing these guys down actually. It seems like he might have gone down the wrong route with setup or something, because he is really struggling. But yeah, looks like that's on it.
Where was that then? Watching from Jerry's point of view, where has Onyx retired? Is it just on track? I think it may have been just on track he's retired. Oh, down the escape road.
Yeah.
I've just seen him down the escape road from RJ's point of view. It may have just clipped the right wall or something, I'm not too sure. As Harry is coming to the pit, looking at Larkin's point of view, is he going to come out right? I think he's coming out right by where Larkin is. Jerry has also come into the pit, so he's going to repair his front wing.
Tajari may have picked up some damage there, but now Harry is out of the points now, but he is going to be one to watch the 3 seconds behind Larkin. Watch out for this man. He is going to be on the charge at the end of this race, as is Jari. He goes out of the pits. He's going to be behind his teammate, pretty close to Cookie, I'd imagine. So he'll be right at the back of the field, but he's gonna be starring at the end of this race. Out of the pits comes Toro also. He's now got work to do. As does Harry. He's 3 seconds behind Larkin, but I don't expect that gap to last very long. Harry, now with really fresh tyres, a bit of a lighter car under him as well with the fuel coming off, but watch out for him. He is going to be moving his way up through the field. How far do you think he can get? Because it isn't exactly easy to overtake around here.
No, not at all. Harry, I don't know. It's going to be difficult for him to even try and move up ahead of Larkin. He's on the super soft tyres, so he's on a fresher compound and even the softer compound. But with how the track is, it's going to be difficult for him. I must admit, it will be very difficult.
Yeah, the only real obvious overtaking points are into turn 1 and into turn 3. There's no other parts of the circuit where you can really make a move. So yeah, that's going to be definitely going to be a difficulty for Harry, but we've seen him before. He's a very aggressive driver. He'll be looking for those moves all the time. Jim has gone out of the session after an early incident which put him out. But yeah, Rick still running around in P2. He's slowly being caught and Mitch behind him. The gap to Paris has began to stretch in these last couple of laps, but I'm sure he would still be happy with P2 as it stands. He's going to continue on with proceedings, but doesn't look like he's going to be able to challenge for the win unless Paris has an accident, which isn't exactly impossible in this track. But Harry now, last lap, he's 2.5 seconds behind Larkin. Now it's half a second. He's sliced that gap with the fresher tyres. So Harry, he's got 5 seconds ahead of Larkin, chased down. But going through this section of the track, he's going to find it very difficult to make a move.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think he's just going to have to trail behind Larkin just for a little bit, as he's got a much better exit than what Larkin has. He goes down the inside of Larkin, and I don't think he's going to actually put too much of a fight up. No, he doesn't. He just lets him by, which means that he could end up getting DRS on the next straight as well. Both in a points position, by the way.
Sorry?
Both in a points position.
But yeah, because of the point scoring system in this league, where everyone down to 12th does score points. Even RJ, who's had a bit of a scrappy race, 18 seconds behind the next car, he's still looking at potential points in this race. I'm just trying to monitor this gap. Harry predicts it's the fastest lap of the race, and that was with being held behind Lark for a couple of corners. He is flying at this stage. He could be, even though he's got 4-second gap to Jacobs, watch that gap disappear. He is going to cruise up to the back at Hulk past driver, I believe. I could be wrong. Just look with his pace at the moment, as you'd expect, but he's actually got even quicker. He's now up to the back of his teammates, and these guys have had damage in the middle of the race, and they've now got their time to shine as the two Toro Rossos now together on the track.
Every single time I seem to be watching Jarry, he's always right next to his teammate. Him and Owen are always together. He's going down the inside of Owen. Is Owen just going to let him by? Owen lets him by. So it's every single time I just seem to be spectating him. Cookie is coming in the pits, repairing his front wing and changing onto the super soft tyres as well. So Cookie's just looking to try and see if he can set the fastest lap. He's about to get lapped by the leaders as well. As he comes out of the pit, Paris is just coming on to turn 1 now, so Cookie's just going to have to move out of the way of these guys coming up behind him. It's looking like quite even at the moment as well.
I don't actually expect Cookie to get out of the way because he'll probably be quicker than Paris, to be honest, on fresh super softs, you'd think anyway. I know Paris has been driving absolutely incredibly this race. He's just had the pace on everyone else, but is that pace going to come at a cost? Has he pushed those tyres too far? The answers are going to come pretty soon. in the last few laps of this race. But the gap to Mitch, it was extending. It was about 6.5 seconds. It's now about 8 seconds, but it seems to have stabilised in these last few laps. So I think Mitch is finally starting to really dial it in and start to hunt down. I think he can get Rick, but I think Harris is probably going to be too far out for him unless the wearing of the soft tyres is too much for him and he starts sliding around and maybe even binning it. But Harris leads the race still. Looks pretty comfortable, but it's not over yet. It's not over till the checkered flag, and certainly with Mitch bearing down on Rick now, he looks like he's really turned up the wick. So, we're starting to see the championship leader come alive here. Rick is going to be under pressure. I can't wait to see who's going to come out on top of that fight for P2.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I can see that Harry has already caught up to the back of Jago, so you were right. In about 2 laps time, he caught straight up to the back of him.
Yeah, Harry, fastest man on track for the moment. Cookie might be going quicker at this stage, but we'll have to see when the fastest laps come in. But Harry now, he can find his way through. Look at the grip that he's got in comparison to the Haas driver, practically pushing him around the track, and he's probably going to have to lift for this final corner because he's right up behind. He doesn't actually lift off, and now he's going to turn up the road, cranks up into high, and now he's chasing him down. Jacobs has not really got much to defend with, I don't think. To the outside goes Harry. He's not got his ERS in the highest mode possible, but Jacobs looks like he's just going to give that one up. So Harry moves round up into P9. Next up the road for him is his teammate Decky, 4 seconds up the road. But he was able to chase down Jake to 4 seconds in 2 laps. Jake Goes seems to be lapping a second a lap quicker than the cars around him, such as his pace. But continues to catch. But are his tyres going to start to go off? I still expect him to catch Decky pretty quickly. But yeah, those Mercedes, even though they're teammates, I don't expect Decky to just jump out of the way because they're more rivals than teammates. I have to say. So yeah, I don't think Decky's going to be exactly happy with his teammate chasing him down.
Yeah, without a doubt, Harry is going to be able to catch up to Decky, both obviously on a sort of a fresher set, shall I say, of tyres. Harry's is obviously going to go off a bit quicker than what Decky's will, so Decky may try and hold him up, and then as it comes towards the end of the race, I don't think Harry will be able to get the move done, but he's already caught up by about a second in that sector. So,
yeah,
Decky is going to have to do some work to try and hold his teammate behind him. A little bit further up on the grid, in fact just ahead of these guys, V5, 12 lap old soft tyres, is only 1.7 seconds behind his teammate of New Waluigi.
but he might be having to look over his shoulder a little bit more because he's going to have these guys on fresher tyres, particularly Harry. They could end up bearing down on it, but Harry's pace is just incredible. He's 2 seconds a lap quicker than the cars around him. It's absolutely unbelievable how fast he's going. Those tyres now 5 laps old. They're not exactly at their optimal working rate, but he's still putting in the laps and chasing down the cars ahead of him. Up at the front, Paris still controlling things. Looks like, again, he's managed to get that gap out to Mitch by about half a second in the last few laps. But the tyres could still go off. But it does look pretty good for the Force India driver, I have to say right now. He has managed to just potentially looked after them pretty nicely, as has Rick. The gap to Mitch still just under 4 seconds, sorry, between the two of them. So that's going to be intriguing. As Mitch going to be able to chase that down and get a P2? He's still been on the podium in every race this season, and he looks to continue that record. But Harry, and I think we were wrong there. Decky seems to have just jumped straight out the way of his teammate Harry. Goes up to P8, not losing any time at all behind Decky. That is a surprise. So Harry moves through up into P8, and next target for him is V5, 5 seconds up the road. But like we've seen with Decky, like we've seen with Jacobs, like we've seen with Larkin, I'm expecting that gap to go down very quickly.
I am as well, especially with V5 being on 13 lap old soft tyres. Basically pitted on the exact, well, he did pit on the exact same lap as what the leaders have as well. So he's still catching up with his teammate, to be fair to him, and even though his teammate pitted 3 laps after him, he's still on the back of him. He's keeping that gap.
V5 pushing on, trying to get in that DRS range. I don't know if these two McLaren teammates talk to each other in the race, but I think V5 He's going to be quite eager to get himself into that range of his teammate. He's very low on the ERS though, so he may struggle to bridge those last few tenths of a second. The Luigi in those last few laps, I think we'll be able to see him off with just the fracture tyre advantage. I think will be enough unless he makes a mistake. But Harry continues to chase him down the gap already. It was almost 6 seconds, now just over 4 seconds. He continues to close up that gap. So yeah, Harry continuing to fly through. It's Jari who's not made as much of an impression. He has managed to close up that gap to RJ for the final points paying position. And those guys pretty much, you know, they're fighting over one single point, but they're still going to be going at it, I'm sure. Jari closing down the gap, Harry closing down the gap ahead. But up the front, not much is changing. Still, the gap is about 4 seconds between all the front runners, all the top 5, about 4 seconds apart from each other. But looks like Rick, he is slowly dropping back from Paris, but for the moment at least, is able to maintain that gap to Mitch behind. But Mitch has 4 lap pressure tyres, you can't count him out. But we'll see. Mitch not really chasing down as quickly as I expected. Rick's still driving a good race. Is Mitch going to be able to chase him down? We'll see. 5 laps to go.
This is where their tyres will start to be going off. Rick and Paris, I think that's why Rick is starting to drop back a bit more. Paris looks like he's just kept his tyres a bit more preserved than what Rick has. Rick has, as I said, is starting to drop back a little bit from that, and Mitch is now starting to gain on him. Even though he's only 3.8 seconds behind them, one of them could still potentially be getting a penalty.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to check right now. So Paris actually has 2 warnings, so 1 more and he's got a penalty. Rick has just the 1 warning. Mitch, actually, it's saying he has 3 warnings. I think one of them was for a collision. But definitely, Mitch and Paris have got to watch a little bit. Rick in a better position when it comes to penalties. But yeah, these guys are going to have to watch, make sure they're not cutting corners, because penalties, when the gaps are about 4 seconds, you know, you can easily lose a second when there's a tyre gap between drivers, and with a penalty, you know, it can change the dynamic of this race.
It can indeed, and looking at it as well, Jay Ghost is only within a second of Decky. Decky looks like he's been dropping back quite a bit over these past couple laps. He's 6 seconds behind his teammate. And as you said, Harry has already made that gap up to V5. Only nearly within a second.
I'm just watching Decky. He does have wing damage, because this isn't what you'd expect from him, really, you know, just to be dropping back. I believe it's quite hard to see, but he may have damage on that right hand end plate. Looks like he's just knocked it, so that explains his lack of pace, I think. But Diego has now got a real chance. Look how slow Decky's going. He's definitely got damage. There's no doubt about that. Just watching him there, he's having to lift off in these final 2 corners just to keep the car out the walls, and he only just managed that at that. So I think it's going to be an easy overtake, but further up the road, Harris is fastest lap of the race, down the inside of V5. Can he get it done? The McLaren driver tries to hold it around the outside. They can almost come together. Down into turn 2, though. Looks like Harry's managed to get the move done as Jagos moves straight around on Decky. Decky not giving up late on the brakes. The Mercedes, the German, not giving it up. But I believe into turn 2, Jagos might just get in front. Yes, he does. So the Haas up into 9th place. Harry up into 7th. He's now got Neo Luigi up ahead. And oh, late move from V5. He just charges down the inside. And wigs are flying. He's lost his front wing. I'm not sure. I wouldn't expect anything like that from V5. He just dive bombs the Mercedes. Maybe trying to help his teammate. It's cost both of them a lot of time.
It did look like it costed him a lot of time. There was another bit of yellows in sector 1, and I believe that was Decky and Jay Ghost. I think Decky, I think has now been confirmed, he has picked up front wing damage. Looking at his front right, you can see that there is a bit of it missing. So, Decky, with now more front wing damage, V5, unfortunately having to do that move, and he's on 16 lap old soft tyres. He could be at risk of a puncture. It's also given Larkin the opportunity to catch up to the back of Decky.
Yeah, Larkin with actually fairly old tyres himself, but he's still chasing down. Of course, Decky, I don't think will be able to put up much of a fight with the front wing damage, even though he does have reasonably fresh tyres. I know something's up with Decky. He just seemed to be way off the pace, which is uncharacteristic for a double champion of the previous PRL league. But yeah, he is now going to be under threat from Larkin behind. force Indy driver and a DRS range is going to be able to get it done. It's a long way back still on the straight, but you can't underestimate the toe that these drivers are going to be getting. But it looks like Decky's still going to be safe for now. Larkin closing, but he's not going to be close enough on the brakes. Look how much later he can brake, though. He had to get out of that last minute because of how Decky, obviously, with wing damage, is going to have to slow down a lot more into the corners. I think that caught Larkin out a little bit, but he may have another bite of the cherry, but he didn't get the best exit coming out of turn 2, so Decky is going to survive that attack. But yeah, it looks like that is going to be dangerous for Larkin behind, because he's going to have to just measure his braking point to make sure he's not running into the back of the Mercedes ahead.
It does indeed, and I can see that there's another battle that is brewing up ahead. It is, of course, the Silver Arrow that has been moving up in a lot of places today. Is Harry on the back of New Luigi, still on those super soft tyres. Also, I've just realised Jerry has caught up to the back of RJ. Now, RJ could lose that point position, which would be very interesting. As I think Cookie is just moving out of the way of... Oh, he's lost his front wing entirely. So that's what the yellows in Sector 2 were. Cookie has not got a front wing.
Oh dear, another mistake in what's been a dreadful race for the Renault. It goes into the wall as well. It's not been a good race for Renault, and it could be made even worse with Yari chasing down RJ ahead. But still this battle for P6 now as Harry moves to the inside, wheel to wheel down the straight. Looks like Luigi's not going to have much to fight with. Harry was just ahead of the McLaren driver when he went into the pits. He's now made up that difference. Harry flying through the field, and he continues that charge up into P6. So Luigi, I don't think he's going to be able to fight back unless he produces something special here. But it looks like he has managed to get through. As Larkin goes rounding outside of Decky at turn number 1. That's not going to please Mercedes, but he's got no way back. He's just so slow with that wing damage. Decky now out of the top 10, not out of the points of course, but I think he will be safe to the cars behind. But it's not been a good race from Decky, a race to forget for the Mercedes.
It is not a very good race for, as people like to call him, the champ, along with Mitch as well. Mitch up in P3. I say down in P3 because he's leading the championship. Just having a bit of a quiet race of his own. Same with Spine and Rick and Paris. These guys on 18 lap old soft tyres. You've got to think that they're in puncture zone, as I'd like to call it.
Well, that's going to be intriguing because we've just got one lap to go in this Grand Prix. Is Paris going to be able to hold on and just keep that car on the island? That's all he needs to do. He's safe to Rick. Rick's safe to Mitch. Mitch hasn't really produced the last stint I think we were expecting from him, but still running around in P3. Looks like he doesn't really like this track, but he still looks to be picking up some decent points. I believe Harry might actually have a penalty. I'm just checking here. Yes, he did pick up a penalty very early on in the race. He has 2 more warnings as well. So, Luigi has still got a chance of getting that, but it's going to be tough for him to lose less than a second and a half because of the flying pace of the Mercedes as he continues to impress in this final stint. But it looks like he might just be able to get it, but I'm not sure. Luigi now 1.9 seconds behind. It is going to be tight between these guys. Paris now rounds the castle section for the final time. I'm sure that's the most cautious he's taken at all the race, just staying nicely away from the walls though. And I believe he should be home and dry. He's got 2 more corners to negotiate that are of significance really. 5 seconds to wreck. He's really just had the pace on the rest of the field today. Started on the ultras, made that strategy work, as did Rick. They both were rewarded with very strong results, but Paris just got to make sure he keeps the throttle nicely, takes it nice and easy. He's on his way, and he's already beginning to celebrate the win. Paris runs the final 2 corners, and he comes up to the line to win the Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
So here we go. The Pink Panther has managed to lead for most of the race. Obviously, what happened with Gary earlier on did not help it. It helped Paris out massively. Got past Rick, and he is now your winner of the Division 1 Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Congratulations to Paris on that one.
Ooh,
very good job.
Mitch is out of fuel. Ooh. I think Mitch was out of fuel as he came over the line because he was going very slowly. He just about managed to stay ahead of Spain as Keller crosses the line. Now, Harry has managed to get out of that 3-second window to Neo Luigi behind him. Is it going to stay like that though? It's just a run up to the line. I think that Mercedes is going to be safe. Over the line, Harry comes across. Looks like Neo Luigi less than a tenth behind as the penalties sort things out. But the McLarens still get decent points in 7th and 8th. Jagos and Larkin, those guys picking up top 10s. And then just ahead of Deke, who will be absolutely gutted to P11. He did look decent in that first stint.
We
But
got a
for the
battle for
final
the
points
final
being
point.
possession, Jarek tries to get up past RJ. They're going to be wheel to wheel and run to the line. A side by side finish for Azerbaijan.
Jerry's just. Oh no, he hasn't just got it.
I think it might have been decided on penalties. I'm not sure because I thought that Jerry got in front for sure there. I'm not sure.
It did look like it.
Yeah. But we'll have to confirm that for the final results. But yeah, Owned and Cookie. Cookie sets the fastest lap of the race.
Got there with it.
End, so yeah. But is Owned going to be able to beat that? He's gone for it as well. So these guys just going for pride. There's no bonus points in this league. No, I don't think that Owned managed to do it. So that is going to round off the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. A decent race, kind of quieted down towards the end, but we still had Harry providing us with a lot of entertainment at the end of the race. But it is indeed Paris on top of the podium. He's going to move up in the championship for sure. I think he was sitting in about 5th or 6th. Mistake, correct me if I'm wrong, but he's going to spray that champagne and move himself into potentially a championship contending position. Good drive from Rick and Mitch, able to get on the podium as well. Keeps off his 100% podium streak, but Paris just looked untouchable today. By far had the best pace out of the field, I think, and he has been rewarded with a sum of 25 points.
Yes, so congratulations to the Force India driver for finishing up in P1. Rick had an amazing start, but didn't manage to keep it. Still a decent result of finishing in P2. Mitch as well in P3. Even though he started down in 5th position, he managed to at least push himself up into the podium, so nicely done from him. Spine in P4. Killer from 9th on the grid up into P5. And my driver of the day, in my opinion, Harry from 18th on the grid all the way up into 6th position. Amazing drive from him. New Waluigi in 7th, V5 in 8th, J Ghost in 9th, Larkin in 10th, Decky 11th, RJ rounding out the points in 12th position, Jerry 13th, Own in 14th, then Cookie, Onyx, and then our 4 non-finishers.
Yeah, that is gonna round it all up. I'm just checking, uh, the final results here. It did. No, actually, RJ did actually pip Jared to the line on track by 7 thousandths of a second.
Oh, really?
So their drag race, yeah. So yeah, it looked like Toro Rosso had actually got in front, but he didn't quite manage it. But yeah, I agree with you, Harry. Great drive, and switching up his strategy really paid off in the end by fractionally pipping Neo Luigi to that 6th place spot, coming from the back of the field, providing us with most of the overtakes in what was, I hate to say it, but it was an otherwise quite a boring race without him. So I'll thank him for that, for making his way through the fields.
No, but that was, I must admit, that was it was quite it was a really good race towards the beginning. How it normally does in a race, just sort of simmers down towards like the end, middle and the end of the race. It did pick up at the end of the race, I must admit, but it is what it is. But you got any final words?
I'm gonna bin it in Zito. Tune into that stream to see that. Yeah.
Let's hope you do. Let's hope you do. But
Wow. Whoa. Whoa.
if you'd like to
What's
tune
this
in,
all about?
oh, it just is what it is. If you'd like to tune into the D2 race, that will be starting in. I don't know if it'll be starting in 15 minutes time. I could be completely wrong, only because I know that a lot of the D3 guys are. Oh, I think it's overrunning.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to wait quite a while, I think.
I'd probably say the race will be starting at about 8 o'clock for D2. So make sure you tune in for that. Thank you guys for watching. I've been J. Cole and my co-commentator as well of Sir Tamdy23. Thank you guys for watching.
Sarah again, thank you.
Yes, all right, you can keep the sir. We will be back next week for I'm not too sure what Grand Prix, but we will see you guys next week.
Bye.